I would update my location and then update, you know, my body count. Then I quit doing Tinder and stuck with Instagram.
My body count. Yeah, this guy's a sad. What's going on, guys? Welcome back for another video. It's your boy, Mr. President. Yeah, so last time where we left off is Miniskirt horror story. You already know. Let's see. We watched part 1. This is part 2. I don't know how long is this video, bro. Damn, it's an hour and 39 minutes. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna break it down into maybe 4 parts. Maybe 5. 5 is pushing it. I'm gonna try to do it at 4, but we'll see. Yeah, I wanted to take a break from Last of Us. Bro, that game is draining me so much, bro. I love playing that game, but trust me, it drains me, bro. It's so frustrating trying to beat it on this difficulty. But yeah, you guys already know. I got the water on deck, man. Bro. So without further ado, bro, roll the clip, man. Let's get to it. Miniskirt horror story.
Years ago, when I was in the 5th grade, my friends and I were walking home from school when we noticed some of the other kids laughing very loudly at something
home from school
and running away like they were disgusted. We looked back, and they were laughing at this woman who was walking behind us. We didn't know why, because we saw her every day when we were walking home from school.
And y'all didn't question it?
We just never spoke with her, or
that ain't no woman, bro.
Seen her up close.
That ain't no woman. That's a dude.
We moved closer to see what was so funny, and we definitely noticed what the other kids were making ruckus about.
Yo, that's a drag, bro.
Dressed in a miniskirt with high heels on.
Nah.
The other kids were throwing sticks and rocks at it, but he never responded. He just smiled while he was walking. A few days later, I just so happened to be watching the news, and I saw the same guy's face on the news. My friend who lives around the corner was getting her mail when she saw the man across the street watching her. He waved and he started skipping across the street like a little girl, while loudly asking her, "Do you remember me?"
From where?
She was one of the kids that threw rocks at him. She shut her door as he started running full speed toward her house while wearing a wig, miniskirt, heels, and a woman's tank top. He started banging
completely
on her door
off topic, bro. I don't know how this man is running in heels, bro. That takes skills.
Anything could have happened to us that day.
I hear a lot of women complain you have no idea how hard it is to run in heels, bro.
Nothing ever happened to any of the kids that I knew.
Clearly he's doing it, bro. I saw my brother's doppelganger.
This story happened when I was 18 years old and a senior in high school. It was an ordinary night. My dad worked the night shift, so we all decided to sleep in my parents' room. I was with my younger brother, who was 15 years old at the time, my younger sister, who was 11 years old, and my mom. My parents' room was a small, purple, square-shaped room, which also had a bathroom. The bathroom's door was across from the bed. My younger brother and I slept on my parents' bed, while my mom and my younger sister slept on the floor. Before sleeping, we all had a short conversation, and after that, we went to sleep at 9 p.m. At 2 a.m., I was awakened by a strange sensation. As I opened my eyes, I had my eyes fixed on the bathroom door, which was cracked open. To my surprise, I noticed a black figure, which looked exactly like my younger brother. The figure stood there with his arms crossed, watching me. However, his eyes were shut. At that moment, I froze. I couldn't move from the bed, and I was scared that if he opened his eyes, he would have red or bloodshot eyes. I decided to quietly turn my head to the other side of the bed to see if it was indeed my brother. My heart sunk to my stomach when I realized that my brother was sleeping right next to me. So many thoughts kept racing through my head. Who is this person? Why is he here? How could he look exactly like my brother? I tried as hard as possible to sleep and ignore what I saw. A few minutes later, after opening and closing my eyes, I was shocked to see that the figure was now standing above me, still looking right into my eyes with his eyes shut. My eyes were wide open from the shock. I felt like I was going to die from a heart attack. I felt as if he was starting to open his eyes, which scared me and caused me to close my eyes and force myself to sleep. Forcing myself to sleep worked, and the next thing I knew, it was morning. When I woke up, I headed to the living room and saw my mom. After holding it inside for a bit, I gave up and told my mom about the incident. I almost froze when she said she saw the same exact figure and witnessed what happened.
Damn, she
It was
didn't do
terrifying.
anything.
We both saw the same black figure that looked exactly like my brother. It was as if he was my brother's twin. We lived in that house for 2 more years until we finally moved out. After the move, we told my dad about this story because he doesn't like hearing creepy stories, so we kept it a secret until we moved. He surprised us by saying that we were not alone. He saw some strange things in that house as well.
CSGO horror story.
When you think of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, the last thing you'd think of was a horror story. But yet, here I am. It was the summer of 2014 and I was bored and home alone, so naturally I hopped on CSGO. I went to Dust Online to play some casual. It wasn't a very busy lobby, there was about 5 people on each side. I joined Terrorist, where I quickly discovered the only other person with a mic was a guy whose name was something like Smarties McFlurry. He sounded a lot older than me, I was 14 at the time. His name was Dave and we got along well and we played good together since we had the same number of skill. We eventually played more CSGO together and then friended each other on Steam. After that, he asked for some of my social media and I gave him my Discord and Snapchat. Then on CSGO, Dave suddenly said he had to leave and we could play more tomorrow. So I got off and watched some TV and eventually went to sleep on the couch. I was home alone for the night. At like 1 a.m., I awoke and got a glass of water. Then I heard a Snapchat notification from my phone. Curious as to who was sending snaps at this time of night, I picked it up and saw it was from Dave. I opened it, and it was a picture of my front lawn and house. The phone and the glass of water fell from my hands to the floor, and my heart began to race. I was suddenly frozen, as if rooted to the spot. The darkness around me seemed to become thicker, and I swear I was seeing shadows all around me. Then I heard a knock at the glass. I turned to the back window, and there he was, the Dave guy, who looked a lot older and creepier than me. Without thinking, I ran to the back door, locked it. I also locked the front door. I could hear him calling to me through the window.
Oh, for a second,
then I proceeded to run to the only windowless room, the bathroom. I stayed in there for about an hour, shaking and fearing the worst. I dreaded hearing the sound of Dave calling me again, a knock at the door, or even footsteps outside. I don't know how long it was before I fell asleep. The next morning, my parents arrived home, and I hesitated to tell them about my experience. I knew they would drop shit on me, but it wasn't just that. I was questioning whether or not I was dreaming when the Dave guy appeared at my house. I knew I had not been dreaming playing CSGO with him, though. However, when I checked my phone, it was like he didn't exist. He was not on my friends list in CSGO, his Steam account was gone, his Discord was gone, and even his Snapchat was gone. All deleted.
He finessed you.
To this day, I still question my sanity about whether or not this Dave guy who I played CSGO with really existed. I know for sure we had chatted on the game, on Discord and on Snapchat, but had he really come to my house? And why were all of his online accounts deleted? I really don't know.
Got him. Instagram horror story. Animated.
I was a big Tinder guy a few years ago. Everywhere I went, I would update my location and then update, my body count. Then I quit doing Tinder and stuck with Instagram.
My body count? Yeah, this guy's a savage,
IG
bro.
has a bunch of fake accounts. So I saw this girl commenting on all of my friends' pictures. Then she commented on mine. I also saw my friends replying, so I figured she was a real person because I looked on her page and she had way more followers than people she was following. So I DM'd her. I definitely thought she wasn't going to reply, but she did within an hour. We talked for maybe 2 or 3 weeks and we made it official. She was pretty, had a degree, and a good job.
Definitely trying to get the bag secured, bro.
I felt she was out of my league.
Yo, oh Oh man.
Every day she posted new photos. And I told my friends about her and they seemed pretty jealous, except for my friend Ryan. He said I was stupid because I never spoke with her. And I only messaged her. She invited me over because she said
there's always that one guy in your group, bro, that's always gonna hate, bro.
The rest of my friends said, don't have any kids, and they would laugh. So I went over there,
man.
But not without Ryan calling me a clown first.
Yo.
The GPS said she lived about an hour away. When I first started to talk to her, she told me that she lived in a nice neighborhood. But when I got there, there were people everywhere and the neighborhood was not that nice.
Turn around, bro.
When I stopped at the stop sign at the corner, people walked up to my windows and asked me what do I need.
Can I get some change? Yo, he looked like Jesus in the back,
But I pulled off really fast and got to the house. It was a duplex. So I messaged her and she said to come up the stairs. It was about 9 at night and people were everywhere just standing around. I knocked on the door and I was definitely excited. The door opened and to my surprise, it was a bald-headed white guy with a patchy beard, tattoos everywhere, including his head, with a tank top on. I asked, was Lisa home? And he said, yeah, come in.
Yeah, she home, dog.
When I walked in,
yo, you dumb, bro.
I was immediately hit with a musty smell mixed with cheese.
Yo, you should have listened to Ryan or whatever his name was.
And he sat down across from me on the couch. He said she'll be out soon. He asked me, did I want something to drink? And I said, yeah, sure.
Bro, you're dumb. You're dumb.
When I got up, I texted her, can she come out, please? She immediately said yes. The man came back in with 2 cups of juice. One for him and one for myself. Then I noticed that he put a phone down on the table next to him. So I acted like I sneezed and got some on my arm. Then I asked for a tissue. He went to get some tissue and he left his phone like I thought he would. I texted her back, and to my horror, the phone rang. I looked on the caller ID and it was my name. I heard him coming back. He came back and we sat there for about a minute. And then the phone rang again because he never checked the message that I sent.
Oh, you're dumb.
He looked at the phone. I looked at the phone.
I looked at the phone.
Then we looked at each other. I postured up. And he calmly said, I guess you caught me. Then out of nowhere, he lunged toward me, attempting to grab me. I punched him, and he fell on his face. I ran out of there so fast, and I never looked back.
That one punch, bro. He probably learned it from the last of us.
I called the cops. And when they got there, the man was still knocked out.
That strong-ass punch, bro.
I never went on dates with people that I met online again.
I told you. I tried to tell him. Creepy guy tried to kill my family. Should have listened to your boy Ryan, dog.
This story is totally true. It happened to me when I was about 4 years old. My dad used to really like going on vacation with me and my family. One time, we went to what I think was Big Bear, but I'm not sure.
What the heck is that?
Anyways, we rented a cabin. I don't remember much, but I remember the inside of the cabin was beautiful. The furniture was all colorful and decorated in Christmas colors, but it was around Christmas time. It was very roomy, and it was 2 floors and had its own den, kitchen, and bedroom. We arrived during the day, and everything seemed normal. When night came, however, we started hearing noises. It sounded like someone was shaking the front doorknob trying to get in. I was the first to notice, and I told my mom, but she didn't believe me. Then she saw it too. For a couple of minutes,
she heard it.
The front doorknob just kept shaking by itself, and we were too afraid to go look out the door.
Where's your daddy at?
Then we heard another noise. It sounded like steel hitting steel. Then it stopped. My dad was afraid someone was trying to break in, so we packed up all of our things so we can leave. But before we did, my dad called the police and asked them to come search the premises. We exited out the back door because the noises were coming from the front. Our car was down the hill from the back of the cabin. I fell asleep in the car and woke up the next morning in a small rinky-dink motel room that was nothing as roomy and beautiful as the cabin.
That
I was so bummed, but I was quickly relieved we had left because later that day, we found out who was making those noises. The police had arrived there and searched the outside and found nothing. Then they went inside and found a man that had 2 hooks instead of hands. He had been twisting the doorknob with his hook.
How are you even
Then he clashed his hook together, and that's what we heard was it still on steel. We found out that about 5 minutes after we left the cabin, he successfully
he did it.
started searching for us.
Yo, this
the
man needs
police
to write a
found
book
bodies
on how
stashed
he
in
did
the
it, bro.
upstairs closet. When we were on our way home from the motel, we stopped at a gas station near the cabin where the madman had tried to break in. My mom knew it was a bad idea, but my dad told her to relax. The cops took care of that guy. He's nowhere near us. We all went into the little shop to buy some candy and snacks. We were quite surprised when we came out of the shop and headed back to our car. There was a note on the hood that read, "There's more of us. See you soon." It's safe to say that we never went back to that cabin again.
That boy trying to play hooky. I think I saw a baby ghost. Yo, that's sad, bro. Don't show me that. Don't show me that.
I was born in 1984. This incident was from 1989. I was 5 years old then. I'm a guy, the middle child of 5 siblings. It was late 1989
I don't know how I feel about that narrating.
when my mom was giving birth to our youngest sister.
I think he's trying
My mom was
too hard,
having
but
labor,
not hard enough.
and
That
my
makes
dad
any
and a
sense.
family friend were taking her to the hospital of our town. My eldest sister and I were left alone at home. I have no clue about ghosts and hauntings by that time. I wasn't sure how much time has passed since they left for the hospital, but I guessed it's about midnight or just before it, when my sister fell asleep. I was sitting beside her on the couch. I am sure I was wide awake and watching my elder sis sleeping. The couch was just by the window, and the window was high above the ground. There's no way anyone could climb up the wall. It was then, at that exact moment, that I saw a hand on the outside of the window pane. The hand of a baby.
That
From the
little hand
wrist
is so
upward,
cute, bro.
with the
No
palm
lie,
facing
bro.
me. Maybe I was too young to get scared, or I didn't know how to react. I'm not sure. I just kept staring at the hand. At that time, I thought that the hand was of my to-be-born younger babies.
What?
I can't tell what exactly happened after that.
My dude, you're 5, bro.
What I'm sure of was that my parents came home the next morning with our new baby sister. I told my mom about the thing after I was 25 years old. But I've got chills when I think about that night. I wonder why I didn't get scared or horrified.
Oh no.
Maybe I was too young, as I've said before. I don't know. I'm sure I saw what I saw. If that night was not then, but one of these nights, I'd be screaming my lungs out or froze to death.
True hide and seek. Alright, let's do this. Hopefully it's Hooky playing it.
I have 3 sisters, Crystal, Kiara,
Damn,
and
I feel
Melissa.
sorry for you.
I'm the youngest and only boy. Growing up, we lived in a haunted house. In fact, the neighborhood was haunted. All the neighbors had experiences. Apparently, it was all built over a military grave site, but I'm not sure how true that is. This was years ago. I was about 5, I think, and my sisters were around their early teens. Our cousin, Vincent, who we call Vincy, was staying over. He's the same age as my sisters. We used to play hide and seek with all the lights in the house turned off, apart from any room our parents were in. So this night was going great. The only source of light was a flashlight that the seeker had. Crystal was usually found quickly because she had, and still has, really long curly red hair, and it almost glowed bright orange in the light. Kiara has long straight blonde hair, so she was found quickly too. But Melissa and I have black hair, so we could blend in better. However, this night, Kiara was the seeker. She found us fairly quickly and only had Vincy to find. So she went to our parents' room and shined the light inside. Our parents had 2 white wardrobes that were attached on either side of a white dressing table, with a mirror on top of it. Kiara could see one of the wardrobe doors was slightly opened, and inside of it, in the darkness, she could see eyes staring out at her. She laughed and shouted, "Found you, Vincy!" But the eyes didn't move. They just stared at her.
Damn, no
"I
blink.
see you, Vincy," she laughed again. Suddenly, on the opposite side of the room, the curtains of the window flew open, and Vincy jumped from the window ledge laughing. Kiara looked at him in confusion. But I thought,
Got him.
Suddenly the confusion turned to fear when she looked back at the wardrobe. The eyes were still there, wide and staring at Vincy, but then slowly looked back in her direction. Kiara screamed and quickly turned on the room light. And they could both now see that the wardrobe was empty. Nobody hiding,
Probably
no
went back
pets,
to Narnia.
no boxes, nothing. Hide and seek in the dark soon became a memory after that.
Alright, boys, we're gonna stop it right there. Thank you guys for tuning in so much. Thank you guys for catching Scary Stories, the part 2 from January all the way up to April. I appreciate you guys. I know I tell you that every day, man. Thank you for even clicking on the video. Last of Us coming soon, part 11. So stay tuned for that too, bro. I got a whole bunch of games lined up for you guys, man. I know you guys will enjoy it, bro. So but yeah, guys. Let's see. We've been on a streak lately, man. We've been on a streak. I know I said Monday through Friday, man, but today's Saturday. I had literally nothing to do. I finished my work early, so I'm like, bro, let me just post a video just for the boys, you know, just cuz, man. But yeah, boys, we've been on a streak. I don't think I want to break the streak, man. All June, bro, I'm just gonna be grinding, bro, just grinding. Believe me. I'll catch you guys later for part 3, and I'm out.